So you're sitting back at home, chilling, relaxing, and then this happens. What would you do? How would you respond? What's going on, y'all? Eric Mulder here with Code Red Conversations. Thanks for joining me again. Today, I'll be offering about 5 possible solutions or responses if you ever find yourself in this unfortunate situation. Now, I don't know the details of this. I don't know whether it was gang related or what, but either way, there's a lot of tidbits. There are a lot of things we could take away from this. But before we get going, ask yourself one question. If something like that happened to you right now, would you be prepared? Yes or no? And be honest. Respond in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Point number 1, I would say, is to make sure that you have some form of security camera system. Now, the prices vary, so you can find good equipment at varying prices, but I would be careful not to be too cheap. In the process of trying to save a few bucks, you end up picking up an item of lower quality. But like I said, there are plenty of options at varying costs. Do a little bit of research, see which one fits your budget, which camera system has the tools that you desire, and then make your decision. In the end, you want to make sure that you have good footage to pass on to the police. Number 2 is having a good door jamming or locking system. Now, these systems, these items aren't foolproof, and they can't prevent everyone from making entry, but they can definitely slow someone down. They can slow the invaders down enough where you can kind of get your wits about you and you can prepare yourself if you are taken by surprise, that is. But if you have someone like this who is bold enough to make an attempt, who try to break in or to actually break in broad daylight, too many attempts at ramming the door, breaking in, would probably arouse a lot of attention. And that's probably the last thing that they want. Now, granted, I don't know. They may have had ill intent and they weren't going to be stopped one way or another, or unless someone returned fire, as in this video, but it could potentially ward them off. Point number 3 is mental rehearsal. Now, I've mentioned this in previous videos. As a matter of fact, I'm going to link it above on the right. Make sure you check out that video. But being mentally prepared can go a long way. I don't know, maybe it's the ex-cop in me, the ex-CO. I would probably say it's a combination of all of those. But I'm constantly rehearsing worst case scenarios in my head. I do it all the time. I do it whether I'm at home. I do it when I'm out in public. I do it basically wherever I'm at. I think about what could happen and what are some of my possible potential responses. Mental rehearsal could slow down the initial startle response that we all go through, allowing you to address the issue quickly. Now, these next few points will kind of piggyback off of each other a little bit. But point number 4 is practice, practice, practice. Whether it's dry firing, whether it's actually going to a range and shooting, or familiarizing yourself more with whatever defensive tool you choose to use, I can't say enough about practicing. It's absolutely necessary if you're hoping for the best possible outcome. Point number 5, or point number 4B, I would say, and I have them listed down in front of me, so I'm going to read off on this one because I want to make sure that I hit on all the key points. I said whatever defensive weapon you choose. I said that in point number 4. But in this situation, I don't see how any other weapon could be effective considering the fact that there were 3 assailants who came in, and you seen the way they flew through that door. They had ill intent. And they went in with a focused mindset. They knew what they were planning on doing. A taser works in some situations, but there has to be a lot of factors to go your way. The suspect has to be wearing clothing thin enough. You have to make sure that the prongs hit at a wide enough spread in order to initiate that lockdown, that lock on the muscles to incapacitate your opponent, your assailant. But what if you have three and that taser only lasts, it lasts for as long as you're holding the trigger? I mean, there's an initial ride that takes place, but then after that, it's a matter of you pulling the trigger. What would you do if you have two other criminals, two other suspects coming your way? A bat? Yeah, you might get a few cracks. If they know what they're doing, you might get a few cracks on a couple of them, but you could easily be overwhelmed. Pepper spray, if you are good enough to hit them in the eyes, if they aren't wearing eye protection, it can help. But there are too many variables, there are too many ways that things can go wrong if you use any other defensive tool, especially, as I said earlier, in a situation like this. A firearm, a gun would be the best possible response, the best possible defense you can offer. So considering the state and city and location that you're in, or even the country for that matter, consider the option of purchasing a firearm and becoming skilled in its use. What option, out of the 5 options I mentioned, which one do you like the best? And if you had any other ideas or suggestions to bring to the table, ways that can prevent this from happening, ways that you can protect your family, protect yourself if you're ever in a similar setting, what would you do? I'd love to hear, so comment down below. In the meantime, stay safe, God bless, and make sure you join the conversation. I'm out.